Alright, my love. So, witness testimony, age 42, which I am not supposed to look at, whatever. Johannes Vermeer portrait is my visage and my genetic. Girl with a pearl earring for the color of the skin, although the camera and the lighting in the room makes my skin actually look a lot darker than I was born. I have a very pale, like incredibly pale skin, but due to the fact that I drink about 12 shots of espresso a day, which gives a keratin, not like it's in the kohlrabi bean, is what we call it, the dark cherry bean, but it comes to the top of the skin, but it does slough off over time from the dermis when it rises to the epidermis, since every, like, I don't know, what is it, 21 days you shed and have all brand new skin on this version of genetic. Let's think about this. Okay, so I was just going through the U.S. justice system is reporting that it functions as a federal arm over the interior ministries of several whatever. So I wrote east to west because I don't know, like, how do you... So if that's the case, it says that the founder of the U.S. Justice Department or office was Ulysses, I believe it's Ulysses S. Grant, or it's just Ulysses Grant. I put a photo up as to what it's reporting on the front source to the public. I then looked, and there is a respectable looking genetic man of a human, whatever, a human group. He has more of what I would call, and again, it's Polynesian, so I don't want to get upset. I wrote Korean only because it's K-O-R, and anything core, which is the center, is normally in Asia acceptable for the acceptable dynasty people. It is the lower Cholo security forces of day-to-day drug operations in natural drugs, not even synthetic, because those are corporate CEOs and they're a whole nother mess of unrespectables. But this gentleman actually has a very respectable face, I will say that. He has a very respectable look. Behind him, though, there is no U.S. flag. Now, he's claiming to be a U.S. He's claiming to be a U.S. representative for a U.S. justice system, but there is only a white background to his black corporate suit. Now, I know myself that we at the only two Stargate owners who have one wife. Why is the one wife Kim? Because it's one wife is the special operations of the military, and then we are only married, he and I, to special forces, not to anything below that. After military special forces, then we alert the daughters of Atlas, which are the children of the ministries, the U.S., and all of the bottom. But when there was some structured settlement, I was told, I thought, that was issued. I've never received a check. I've never received notice. I've never received anything from that structured settlement. In fact, I believe that's what funded, as Ulysses Grant, the U.S. system. So now when I'm not informed that there is a New York Southern District anything man who's claiming to be a U.S. attorney, I'm a U.S. Justice Supreme. Why am I not informed of this? Why am I, Nicole Cataruza, not invited to an appointment or to an interview meeting with these people that are putting their faces up in public saying that they are in charge on world stage. I did not appoint them. I was not asked if they could be appointed. I was not consulted, nothing. But this ties back into, this man also calls himself an American, and he calls himself a Southern District, New York attorney. Really? As an American? How? And there's no flag behind. So now, is he special ops and militia in, I'm confused as to where his reference was, and why I was not consulted about his appointment, nor like asked. I don't know when he began. It says 2017. I don't know who was before him. I'm still sitting in a disgusting single state of New York where it's still just me sitting here without NICKLAUS. So I don't understand how anybody is operating. I mean, are you just holding the outer edges? What about Attorney General BARR? He looks more, I would say, genetically closer to what I am. Not that that means that he is, by any stretch of the imagination, a more, like, whatever. I haven't interviewed him either. I mean, I haven't spoke to these people. I haven't interviewed them. Haven't been consulted by the rest of the special operations area as to where we are at with the agenda, the one that NICKLAUS and I were born with, and on fixing a whole lot of issues that concern and tie in a whole lot of different groups around the world. So now I'm just confused as to where you all thought this was going. This morning I woke up, I have on the telepathic going, structured settlement, go look for structured settlement. I find something called an AIG. Again, these are all things, like, these are words. They mean absolutely nothing to my position. I mean, this is all temporary being here, whatever the genetic acuity is, and the rest of whatever else is going on in the world is subject to change at a blink of an eye, because it's not going on simultaneously as my own, because I will not allow you to function in any capacity while I am sitting in this position. I'm sitting as a pauper inside squalor by myself in some form of concentration camp since I was little, where I have to concentrate on my own situation and who might be responsible outside of my own Stargate Vortex, most important on the planet, or most important, like living, breathing with heart and with beat and with rhythm. While I'm separated from NICKLAUS, that means that nothing has a beat, a heart, or a body order of importance if it is not helping him actively get to me. There is no justice on the earth until it's only more and more crimes just adding up like a gigantic ball of yarn. So I don't understand what takes you so fucking long to get a system together. I mean, you threw U.S. justice system together like that. I mean, it was just painted on in. And everything painted is a big pain, P-A-I-N, in my fucking ass the longer I sit here, just fucking waiting for NICKLAUS. Diafrio's here. I told him this morning, I'm like, you're like a fucking mannequin. I can't fucking stand you. And then he's like, I can't believe the guy for the job this morning, he called me and he told me that it was going to be blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you ever get new material? Like, honestly. For as long as I've known you, I've heard this conversation about 1,000 times, if not more. I was like, and it never changes. I don't care. Like, do you get new material? Like, what's the point in you speaking? Like, he opens his mouth and hot air comes out, and I'm like, why do you even animate? Like, why is anybody allowing you to be? Like, there's no fucking point. So now if we could go back to the U.S. justice system, I put up there the photo. It's a June, Jon, I don't know how to pronounce it, Hyn, Hyan, and then Kim, Kim, for the man from, it looks like to me, special operations, because he has no U.S. flag attached behind him, which is usually a Starfleet visual reference, but he is not a Starfleet commander that I recognize. I've never met him before, and I'm currently having problems with my Starfleet. So that's one. He's not an aerospace, or like a aeronautical approved person by any stretch of the imagination. Because again, I'm still sitting here like this. If he was an approved aerospace position in special ops or not, I would have interviewed him along with NICKLAUS and we'd be together. Well, we are in an apart position. Everything's open for interpretation, or at least that's the way that they've been conducting themselves. Fake it till you make it. They keep lying to you and seeing how far they can get away with things and just pushing for their own fucking agenda. That's why I don't understand why you don't fucking kill them all, because guess what? We already gave you the instructions before I was born, and certainly when I was 4, because I've got bigger problems than what you see on surface Earth. As far as U.S. Attorney BARR, I cannot vet him. I do not stand by him in the sense that I haven't interviewed him. I don't know the agenda. I don't know the circumstances surrounding him. I would have to look over the charges of what he's contributed to the help of keeping the structure intact with a U.S. flag for his service, to thank him for his courageous effort at holding some form of allegiance, I suppose, as we go through this, like, 42-year period of, what do you all do for a living? Like, I mean, it's Starfleet. Why is there a non-portrait man sitting with no flag in, like, what is indicative of a Starfleet position that I did not appoint, and I certainly would not put into any starship whatsoever? In fact, they're not even going to make it past this genetic lifetime. Whatever my expiration date is in this genetic is as far as their future goes. Most of them won't even make it to the end of my expiration. So for this particular, whatever a normal human expiration period is, go on that assumption as a fact, for recalculation of making sure that they are all teared down in 1,000 deaths type of a way, where they die 1,000 lifetimes to make sure that they don't ever reappear in my vortex or Stargate angelic numeracies. And how do you get infinity to collapse on a finite point in order to define an affinity relationship and everything else be collapsible? Right, yeah, that is a really easy mathematical equation. I don't know why you've waited 42 years to process that. It is really bothersome that it takes you so long to do any, like, real calculations without a machine. Right, yeah.